All right. FYS, we've reached the final module of our class. Can you believe it? I can't. I knew it was going to go by fast, but it really has. So I'm actually going to do I'm actually going to do two videos right now to post in Module 4. One is to open the new module and explain sort of what to expect, and then the other one is to wrap up the Romans. So right now I'm talking about what to expect in Module 4. So we're into the Middle Ages now, and really, if we had a little more time, I probably would have broken Module 4 up into two separate modules, but we really don't have enough time to do that. So the Middle Ages lasts just about 1,000+ years east and west. So don't even do the math. Because it's just mind-boggling. But the Romans in 325, um, Constantine is now the emperor, and he decides to move the capital. He decides to leave Rome, and he sets up a new city that he calls Constantinople, which is his name, city of Constantine. Constantinopolitis would be, or Polis. And when he does that, that shifts the entire Roman machine to the east into what is modern day Istanbul. So, with that, also starts a new empire, or it's really a continuation of the Roman Empire. But in another 100 years after 325, in the 5th century, is when Christianity becomes the official religion of the empire, and that really ushers in the Byzantine Empire, and they last until 1453. So the first part of Module 4 will include some Byzantine art, which is also early Christian art that starts more in Rome, and then when they shift over to Constantinople, it's more Byzantine art. So we look at some things from that. When the whole Roman machine moves to Constantinople, moves to the east, it kind of leaves the west without anything. So the people who had been, or excuse me, the Romans that had conquered Gaul, which we're now going to change and call France, over after the Franks, who move in basically into the void of the Romans setting up camp farther east. So the Romans will eventually, or the Roman Empire in the West will eventually kind of decay and crumble, and they're attacked by barbarians. They're attacked by different groups that have their own culture. That they, when they're called barbarians, that just means like they're not Roman, they're not Greek and Roman tradition. They have their own traditions, and so we're gonna see the rise of metalwork because these barbarians are on the move. They're sometimes referred to as migration culture, which I think is to make them not sound as bad as barbarian, but I mean, I love barbarians. I mean, come on, who doesn't? Anyway, so they have an art form and it's metalwork, and we're gonna see in the West that the art really kind of comes from the idea of two-dimensional metalwork, design, pattern, and that really continues all the way to stained glass windows in the Gothic era. So in the East, in the Byzantine Empire, they continue with the idea of naturalism and classicism, and they still have all the works of the Greek playwrights, and they keep those manuscripts in production. So really, when the Renaissance happens in Italy in the 1400s, that's because all that stuff starts migrating back to where it had originally been. But in the Byzantine Empire, it's really a continuation of the classical. So I really want you to pay attention, even though some of their art is abstract. I want you to understand that they still have a lot of the notions of the continuation of Greek and Roman culture. Greek is still their language. The Byzantine Church is Greek. That's their liturgical language. And even today in the Greek Orthodox Church, the language is Greek. So that's a continuation also, that Greek Orthodox Church of the Byzantine Empire. So that's a little bit about what to expect in the medieval period. The assignment that you have for the module is, again, another choice of two things. One more about architecture, and one about one of the most culturally significant events in the Middle Ages, which was the development of the pilgrimage for Christians in the Middle Ages was to go to either Jerusalem or to Santiago de Compostela, and those two places had different spots that people knew to stay along the way, mostly monasteries, and architecture kind of grew up around that. So that's some introduction to the medieval period, and I hope you'll find it interesting. And then we have a few days to kind of get ready for our finale assignment, which you has been there since the beginning. So I urge you to go into the finale assignment so you can start thinking about that too. And just remember 3 learning journals for the module, and don't wait until the last day to answer questions in the discussion boards. See you later.